Hello everybody, welcome back to Sim Gaming. It's been a while, very long time in fact, and I'm not playing City Skylines at the moment until version 2 comes out. But I've become rather addicted to Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is the F-18 and we're going to do a little bit of a flight to look at the home and away location, Palm Beach. We're in Sydney, Australia at the moment, and as you may have noticed, we're accelerating rather slowly, and that is because I've still got the parking brake on. Ooh, whoopsie. Oh dear, oh dear. Once I disengage that, I can do a ridiculously poor takeoff. Now I have used something called flight control replay. And I've got it on cinematic mode at the moment because, well, why not? Because that's the only thing I can work out how to use it, to be honest. But anyway, here we are. We've taken off from Sydney. We're going to do a little bit of a fly around. Got a couple of minor issues with this particular flight. One is my waypoints don't seem to have been entered into the HSI, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm a bit lost, so I'm having to use the VFR map instead. Fortunately for me, or for you, the VFR map also works when you're replaying it. Now this is a little bit glitchy, as in I've had a couple of glitches on it. It pauses, I have to reload the app and start again. Not the game itself, just the flight recorder and replay tool. Anyway, let's just enjoy a little bit of the views of Sydney as we fly towards some of the skyscrapers, and I try to fly the F-18 rather poorly in between some whilst doing a 360 degree rotation. What could possibly go wrong? Here we go. We're going to make it. And we try, and we go down to the ground quite quickly, and we have to recover. In fact, just behind there was the Sydney Opera House, looking rather splendid, I have to say. So we're off up to see Palm Beach, apparently, which is where they record the external shots of home and away on the beach. And I believe that's where the lifeguard stroke the fitness place is meant to be. Now, it is exactly on the nose at 12 o'clock from this point, just there. I believe it's now just past 12, and you can just see it on the corner of the screen. There should be a lighthouse, however, MSFS does not show that. Rather annoyingly, and I overshoot it because when you're doing about 450 or 460 knots, you're flying pretty quickly. So it's coming up fast. Hopefully we'll have a shot in a minute of the view as we go past the area. So hopefully we are heading up. It's just going to be around here any point. In fact, I think just on the end when it opens up the sea into the inland area is where I believe the lighthouse should be, which is somewhere around here, just to that bay there on the left. You would have seen it about 11 o'clock. There it is, just down the left. I believe that is exactly where Home and Away is meant to be filmed, and on top of that, I think, please correct me because I'm probably wrong, is where the lighthouse should be. Anyway, when I was flying this, I missed it completely. In fact, I think it's just here because I've just saw a scene today where it shows the narrow strip of land with sea both sides. Anyway, I've flown past it because I've didn't know what I was doing when I did this first time around. There it is. That is where the lighthouse should be. Anyway, I'm going to wait until we go back over again, and I'll show you again in a second. Don't know what that weird line is there. Must be some weird map join thing occurring. I figured as there's this nice big open space around here, it'd be nice to do a bit of low level flying just to see how well or how badly I do at this. Now, if you've been watching many of the Microsoft Flight Simulator people, in the UK there's a couple of really good guys. Fastjet Performance apparently does his own little flight programs and learning schemes through Patreon. An ex-military jet fighter himself does remarkably good stuff in DCS. Should check him out. Also, I've been watching somebody called, I think it's called CG Aviator again. I think ex-military, because he talks about flying the T1 Hawk, which I think is what the RAF used to, or would do if they would fly at the moment, would be using to teach their jet fighter pilots how to fly. And he does an awful lot using MSFS, does the Mach loop and various different RAF bases to RAF bases. Really good watch if you're interested to see how to properly fly a plane, and also goes into quite a lot of detail about how to plan the routes as well and fly according to the rules, which I'm not doing because I'm flying incredibly low, probably quite quickly, and I would be annoying the hell out of the people beneath me. Anyway, just behind me is the site that I was looking for. That is the area I believe is meant to be where the beach party, the lifeguard station and Salt the restaurant are all. So we're heading back now. It will be on my 3 o'clock, just coming up into view. There, that island, well, island's that bit of land just there, I'm sure is where it's meant to have the lighthouse, and there isn't one, rather annoyingly. I think this part of beach is where it should have the lifeguard station. Here we go. Let's annoy everybody. Yes. I have to say, looks an amazing place to live. Warm, sunny, green, sea, sand, clean air, unless you're in the fumes of YF-18, and wow, just looks fantastic. Apart from those hazardous, poisonous spiders. Yeah. I'm going to do a bit of low-level flying. I'm not quite sure why when it's doing replay you don't get any of that kind of full hardcore vapor trails off the wings. Maybe I'm not pulling hard enough. I'm just letting it go around at quite high angles. Who knows? But shortly, I think, why not? Let's speed up. Let's go as fast as humanly possible. Now, I can't use afterburners, rather annoyingly, because my rather cheap Thrustmaster HOTAS doesn't have a button for afterburners and doesn't have a detent or anything, so it's rather annoying like that. But it allows me to fly without buying too much. I haven't got any ruddles. I'm trying to get some rudder pedals, out of stock all the time. First world problems, eh? do wish there was some more instructions. Maybe somebody can point me to the right ones for that flight replay application I've got, because I'd love to be able to know how I can choose certain cameras at certain points. That would be brilliant in a replay, because sometimes you want to be able to look from one side in particular, or maybe even adjust the amount of times that it rotates around, because it does rotate quite a lot quite quickly. And if you're wondering what my rig is, well, it's a few years old now. It's an AMD CPU, one of the ones which was quite quick back in the day. I can't remember the model, but this an NVIDIA 3080 I got just after the release of that 30 series. Took a little bit of time to arrive because I was based in the UK, but I did get one quite quickly, and I think it's working right. I've basically left it at the default ultra settings, I think, of what it plays with. I think it looks pretty good to my eyes. As of before, my waypoints had completely disappeared, so I had no actual routing, no maps, didn't really know where I was going. So the thought was, how do I find the airport that I needed to go to? Well, I hadn't got a clue what it was. I don't take any notes, I just click here, click there, click here, a couple of add for some additional waypoints to fly to, or put the autopilot on if I want to have a scenic view. And this occasion I didn't do anything along those lines, which is rather annoying. Although, when you watch people like CV Aviator, like, they do a lot. I mean, they know where their nearest airport is for recovery, for emergency situations. Obviously, this is a flight simulator. If I run out of fuel, it doesn't really give a monkeys. I'm not going to be injured, not going to be killed, not going to crash, not going to kill anybody. So there you go. Anyway, now I am flying around, having a great fun, low level, high speed, really enjoying the beautiful weather here in Australia. I'm saying that like I'm there, but I'm not. It's spring in England, for Christ's sake. So in a moment I decide, what can I do? I need to find an airport. I've got the VFR map. Maybe if I climb to about 4,000 feet, put autopilot on so I get to hold at the barometric autopilot at around 4,000 feet. Give me a chance to scroll around my VFR map, see if I can find a suitable landing area that I can then head for. Here I go, climb up, 4,000 feet-ish, put on the old autopilot, let me see if I can find a spot to land. Now I do find one, I do find a location to go to. I think it's a Yankee, I'll come on the map in a second. Well, I'll tell you, it's like Yankee Delta, I've forgotten what the alphanumeric alphabet is for M. Mother Alpha. Okay, I've just asked Google. It's Mike. So what am I heading for? I am heading for not come on the map yet. Okay, so I found it. It is Yankee Mike November Delta. Don't know what I was thinking about, but that's the one. That's the airport I will be heading towards, which is, I chose the runway 230 or 23, so 230 degrees. I need to turn left at some point to enable me to vector in. Oh, that sounds pretty posh there. Vector in. So vector or head in to that runway airport. Now, what I do tend to have a problem with is actually locating airports. I don't know why everybody else seems to see them. I just cannot find it at all. Anyway, I'm going to turn in. Probably. Now I've got no TechAN, I've got no GPS, I've got nothing to tell me how far away this thing is. I am just referring to my VFR map, which is, I guess, cheating because it's not actually something you'd actually have in the plane available to you unless the waypoints were working correctly. Now, obviously, the luxury of it, when you're replaying it back, you kind of know where it is, and when you're external, it's easy to spot. It's easy to spot. That's what I meant to say. It's easier to spot. Bond. It's easier to spot over there, you know, boy. So from here you can see it. Look, it's 2 o'clock from my position. Now I'm trying to find it. I need to locate it, and then once I've found it, I need to reverse. I need to head away from that because the runway's on heading 230. So I need to rotate back 180 degrees. So my mathematics would be 230 minus 200 is 30 plus 20 is 50. So I need to head back on a, I don't know, they say reciprocal. I don't know if that's the right word or what, but I need to go back on a heading of 50. The other thing I need to do, which I'm trying to do slightly more of, is take mental notes, confidence features as they call it, so that when I'm vectoring back in or coming back in, I've got a better idea of where I am. Now as we're heading out, there is a large red patch of dirt. I guess it's a mining area or something that is being worked on at the time, and I can use that because that seems to be in line with runway 23, and you'll see it shortly. Now, interestingly, I said we needed to go out at, I said 50, didn't I? 50 degrees I need to head out, but I'm actually heading out on 32, and it looked like I'm pretty parallel, in line with the runway. Interesting. Now, I would admit to you, I have really struggled in landing this thing. I've watched numerous YouTube videos, numerous. In fact, the 2 guys that I mentioned, Fast Jet Performance and CG Aviator, I've watched both of those, and several other YouTubers about how to land this thing, how to throttle it back, how to put it in, how to get the thrust, how to get the staple, and your little velocity indicator to be in the E, so in the middle of the E, by trimming and then using a lot of throttle. My biggest issue was that I didn't use the throttle enough, and one of the tips I came across was you need to really move it backwards and forwards. So power on, power off, power on, power off. You don't hold it on to let it spin up and then back down, because you're just going to go too high, and the spins take a bit of time to come up and down, the RPMs and these changes. So I was just having to go backwards and forwards, and once you kind of learn, you have to do a lot more of the power on, power off than you expect. You actually do end up making relatively decent job at landing these damn things. As you can see, I'm heading straight at it, but I am not coming in a straight on approach. I guess I'm probably about 25 degrees off of where I need to be, so I'm going to have to correct that at some point. And once I get below 250 knots, I can then bring down a gear, well timed, and I can put the flaps into full to allow me to slow down to around about 130 knots. Apparently it's a lot easier if you fly this thing with the air brake out, but I think that's a bit cheating, so I try not to. There's that red patch of land I think I was looking for. I'm not over it, I'm a bit to the right of it, which makes me a bit too far off, as you can see now with the airport in the distance. Now with this particular airport, there's a lot of trees. There's trees just slightly to the left of the runway as you're coming onto the approach, and to be fair, I am going to be very, very shallow on this approach, totally by accident. In fact, I come in and I actually land right on the beginning of the runway, and as I come in I do have to give the old jet a bit of throttle so that I actually get onto the threshold of the runway and don't land beforehand. Now, one other thing, this runway is pretty narrow, so thank goodness there's not a lot of wind, otherwise I'd be all over the place and it would be a bit of a nightmare. As you can see, I'm coming in, taking it nice and slow, got the noses up, so I guess I'm pretty much on the right angle of attack. I think I'm looking pretty good. The scenery is absolutely amazing. As you can see, those trees there are right on the line. Who the hell plants trees just there? Seriously. Now, 500 minus 500 is my vertical speed. See how close that is? Feels really close to that. Oh my god. Anyway, here we go. Cross the runway. Gonna hit it. Big problem I'm gonna have is after I land, my cheapo. Ooh. Oh no! It's paused. Unbelievable. Right back. There you go. Coming in again. Do I actually get on the runway? Oh, look at that. That is brinking close. Anyway, as I was saying, my cheapo HOTAS, I can't actually hit the nose wheel steering button. I don't have one on the thing, and the only way to do it is by cranking over the joystick all the way over to the right, using the mouse to find the button and click it once to get NWS on, or twice because I get run out of space. But there you go, I did land it. I'm drifting now. If I could have the nose wheel steering on, there you go, I've cranked over the joystick, see if I can get the nose wheel steering on, but I'm still going to drift off until I get that on. Hopefully you found that relatively interesting of flight, and thank you very much if you have even managed to get it at the end. That's fantastic. Music is obviously through the NCS streaming NCSIO website. Link is in the description for all the music that is being played during this video. If you're audio subscriber, hey, thanks for watching. Slightly different than City Skylines, right? If you're not, hey, hit the subscribe button. If you liked it, yeah, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please don't hit the unlike button. That'd be a bit of a pain. And hit the notification bell if you're going to subscribe. Hey, why not? I might make a few more of these different areas. Next plan, I want to fly the Mac loop. Yeah, baby. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.